watching Numbskull News, and today I want to talk about what some people are calling doomsday or the apocalypse in college football. We're talking about the House case, we're talking lawsuits, we're talking Congress, all kinds of crap that's coming up shortly that's just going to teabag our beloved college football. And I'm here to tell you right now, a lot of that is being overblown and overhyped. And first, let me start with revenue sharing. Now, this is something else Mac Rhodes on 365 Sports had talked about. It's coming. He's like, no doubt about it, how it looks, whatever, but it's coming. And for all the people that thought, well, you can't really depend on Congress to get something. Well, they're still going to try. And we got elections coming up, according to Mac Rhodes again. And the reason I'm kind of leaning on him and Brett Yormark get along really well. So when he talks about certain things like these are things that him and Brett Yormark have talked about, other ADs, other presidents, maybe even a few things from Endeavor, and possibly things from the Big Ten and the SEC as well, because of course Brett Yormark talks to those two commissioners. Now, the revenue sharing, it is coming, and it's a long time coming. The Big 12 is going to suffer greatly with revenue sharing. Can they afford revenue sharing? Well, yes, they can. It'll be up to the Big 12 what the percentage is going to be. Could there be collective bargaining? It's going to be hard to have collective bargaining if college athletes are actually viewed as employees or made employees of the universities, which to me, I know a lot of people, and a lot of people that I respect online have been pushing for that. They need to be employees. No, they don't. They need to be independent contractors. When you're an independent contractor, you get a lot of freedom, a lot of player movement. This is going to be huge in the coming years. Nothing will pass Congress. Nothing will, get past any kind of collective bargaining thing without player movement. And you can't be an employee of the university without a contract, without them knowing you're going to be there. So that would really greatly reduce the transfer portal. And trust me, these players don't want that reduced at all. They want to be able to leave if they feel they need to leave. And because of Title IX, a lot of ladies are going to get paid even though they don't make any money for the university. A lot of other male sports also who don't deserve one damn dollar are going to get plenty because of that. I think it's bullshit, but that's the way it's going to go. And will that spell the end of the Big 12? No, the Big 12, believe it or not, make plenty of money. They can afford revenue sharing. And of course, the Big Ten and the SEC, they're going to have a lot more revenue to share. All right, so they're going to have to pay out more. And will this help them out-recruit the Big 12? No, they already out-recruit the Big 12. None of that changes at all. So all the consternation I don't get. And of course, you have lawsuits coming, most famously the House case. Well, what do you do about that? You're talking billions of dollars it would probably take to settle the thing. If it does go to court, you could stand to lose billions more. So what do you do? Because, the Big Ten and the SEC, because they make so much damn money, they're going to be paying the lion's share, or whatever that lawsuit brings. Whether through judgment or through some kind of negotiated settlement. So they're going to be paying the bulk of it because they have the bulk of the money. All right. The Big 12 have to pay a little. Yeah. The ACC has to pay a little bit. Yeah, of course. But I've been thinking about it. And in the news over the last several months, a lot of people have been talking about private equity. Now, that's something they've been talking about with Florida State, maybe a few other schools, but not really on the conference level. And maybe not private equity, maybe public equity. If you're the SEC and the Big Ten, it may make the most sense. And who would you get? Who would you sell the equity to? How about a partner you already have? Why wouldn't the SEC sell some private equity to ESPN? Why wouldn't the Big Ten sell some equity in the Big Ten to Fox? Possibly enough money to pay their portion of the House case. Get that off your back. That way it's not another hit to your revenue stream. What does that mean for Fox and ESPN? Well, the next media rights negotiation, you'll probably pay a little less. Now, on paper, it's probably around the same, but you're going to shave off some money because you're going to start making money directly off the SEC. And same thing with Fox with the Big Ten. It makes a lot of sense. And in case you doubt something like that can happen, a precedent has already been set in the music industry. Keep in mind, this is all entertainment. Okay? Well, it's sports and music. That's two different things. It's all entertainment, people. And one thing about business, if something works and works well, other people may copy it. So Fox and ESPN may look at, the record industry and what they did, because they were losing their ass when streaming popped off, Spotify, everything else, Apple Music, whatever. They lost their ass. But they still had a lot of rights to a ton of music. So what do? Well, when it comes to Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube Music or whatever you listen to, you ever stop and wonder, why is this shit so cheap? It's like $10 a month, maybe 15 without, any kind of ads or anything. I mean, it's really kind of cheap. I mean, I listen to YouTube Music because I already get the premium service. So I'm paying like $18 a month, so I don't have to see ads on videos. And what comes with it is YouTube Music. And they got everything. Once in a while, an artist will leave and they'll come back. But basically, they got everything. How you get that much music? We're talking, it's got to be millions of hours of music at their discretion. And how is it that cheap? It's because the record labels negotiated with the streaming platforms, Spotify and everything else, low rates for the rights to their artist music. And this is why artists, they make like 0.001 cent per spin. I mean, it's like a fraction of a penny per listen of one of their songs. They make jack shit. And the reason for that is because they negotiated that. But why would they give Spotify and Apple and YouTube such low rates? Why would they not try to get more? They did it for an exchange and an equity stake in Spotify and YouTube Music. And see what I'm saying? So now now everyone streams their music, and the record companies are rolling in the cash. The artists aren't, but they are, because they sold out their artists to get money. Now, I'm not saying something like that exactly will happen, but as the linear model dies, ESPN and Fox have got to figure some things out. This is why they partnered with Warner Brothers Discovery to have a straight-to-consumer product. And ESPN is going to have one of their own as well. The reason for that is they're trying to lay the groundwork so when The cable money disappears. They can still make their cash, but they have to make sure they got their content. Would they unask some big money to get equity and actually pay less for the SEC if you're ESPN, or pay less for the Big Ten if you're Fox? Absolutely. Why not? It's great business. It may take a few years to get your money back on something like that, but after that, you got a great deal. A fantastic deal. As you're not going to be making as much money because there's no carriage fees when it comes to streaming. Dare I say, it's almost perfect. So ESPN and Fox and the SEC and the Big Ten may do something like that to alleviate immediately the house case money or any other lawsuits. And ESPN and Fox, they could pay a little less in the future. If you're the Big 12, you have the same kind of option. I believe it's possible. Not sure. I'm not sure if it's 100% an option, but it's something. It's an option to look at it, to discuss it, pick up the phone, call Endeavor. Hey, how would you like a little equity stake in the Big 12? And what Endeavor does, they print money. Look what they're doing with the WWE. Folks, it's not an accident or just lucky circumstance that The Rock is back in WWE and their ratings have blown the freak up. It's because of Endeavor. They paid him big money, put him on the board of TKO Sports. On the board. Gave him a big fat paycheck and gave him the rights to his name and all of his catchphrases and everything else. He owns The Rock now, not the WWE. It's incredible business they're doing. It's this kind of intellect, these kind of connections that Endeavor has. That's why I would be comfortable for the Big 12 to sell an equity stake to Endeavor, because they want a big fat return on their investment. And they would definitely help us get their own return and more money for the Big 12. It makes a ton of sense. And then the house case, what house case? You know what? It doesn't interfere with the money you're bringing in. So look, there's ways out of all the supposed trouble that college football is in, regardless of the conference. Now, if you're in the ACC, I mean, there's a nuke headed your way. There's not a whole lot that's going to save you. Ask the Pac-12. The Big 12, we got lucky. We got really, really lucky. And now we're being able to monetize and reap the rewards of that luck instead of just sitting on there, oh, hope everyone likes our 8 teams. No, we added 4, added another 4. We're going to add more teams, 4, 6, or 8 from the ACC, possibly some basketball onlys we really need to. And then we'll see where we are in the future. But as I keep saying, the future is very bright for the Big 12. I think the future is very bright for college football in total. Sure, it is part of that live sports bubble bursting or deflating, if you will. Yeah, it is. But that's more of the linear TV, the cable bundle. That's more of their problem. However, it does have effects in other ways. It's going to limit how much money that conferences, that ESPN and Fox can make when that linear thing finally gets phased out and can't draw the kind of money it used to. So there's not the same level of money in streaming, at least not easy money. And at the same time, live sports is still incredibly valuable. And you got Apple, you got Amazon, you got Netflix sitting out there waiting, biding their time, looking for the right deal at the right moment. So to me, the future is incredibly exciting. Incredibly exciting. Again, if you're the ACC, maybe not so much. Maybe if you're a G5 fan, but even y'all, even y'all. I mean, everyone's like, oh, the G5 doesn't matter. You got access into the playoffs. Are you making what you want to make? Probably not. But look, the Mountain West joining with the Pac-2, you could turn that into something interesting. Whoever gets left out of the ACC, like Oregon State and Washington State did, teams are going to get left out. Whatever they can work out with the American, that could become a fun and exciting conference as well. You don't have to stay in the doldrums forever. You can rise up. The Mountain West, I think, with Oregon and Washington, have a very interesting future. And what happens in the ACC could possibly see Stanford and Cal right back on the West Coast where they belong, and in whatever that Pac-2 Mountain West merger thing would look like. All of a sudden, whatever that is gets that much more valuable. Is Stanford and Cal, as far as football or sports, really that valuable? No. But you're talking about a big-time major market, big-time major brands of these schools. No one really watches them, but that, maybe you could build something. Maybe you could build a fan base. Maybe those two teams, those two programs, those two universities will wake the hell up and decide to actually invest in their sports again. Who knows? Who knows what can happen in the future? But like I said, just because you're not going to be part of this Power 3 that's going to be out there, it doesn't mean you don't also have options and room for growth for your future. You absolutely do. Just because Memphis isn't going to go to a power conference doesn't mean they can't have great results of their own. They can. So can South Florida. So can Tulane. All of them. Boise State. All these teams I really like and I really appreciate and I respect. If just because you're not going to be on that level doesn't mean you can't move up in your own level and make that more important, make that more valuable. Absolutely can. All right, well, that's all the raw crap I got for the day. But thanks for watching this crap, and I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.